All right. Well, in conclusion, any and all winter cold weather camping plans that I had are now out the window. Well, howdy, friends, and welcome back to the A Toyota Called Amelia YouTube channel. And today, unfortunately, we have made quite the discovery. It's much worse than I thought. Um, so before we dive into it, just a brief history on the camper. That camper was custom built for this truck in 2018 in Montclair, California, by a fella named Martin at USA Camper Shells. And he told me when I picked it up that these campers do inherently have a shelf life. It's wood framed, aluminum skinned. So naturally they have a shelf life. And that being 7 years ago now, we're around halfway through that shelf life, unfortunately. And this truck has exclusively lived in, for all intents and purposes, dry climates. Um, SoCal, Northern California, Reno, Nevada, with a brief stint over in East Tennessee. Obviously, that's not dry, but it wasn't there long. And now we're up here in the Pacific Northwest, where, as you can see, during rainy season. And we have had rain for about a month straight. It's not raining at this current, very specific moment in time, but it's been raining and raining and raining. And unfortunately, we discovered a leak in the rear passenger side of the camper, which I then took care of with an absolutely obscene amount of Sikaflex, and it hasn't leaked since. But the truck then sat for a little while longer, and I discovered that due to said leak, we had mold. And that is not an issue I'm used to dealing with. I've never had to. I've always been in some sort of a dry-ish climate where it's not the biggest issue in the world. Well, now it is. And unfortunately, the camper's paid the price. Actually, uh, people I posted some photos and videos on my Instagram account, and some folks telling me to, well, burn it. It's a lost cause. But I'm determined. I think it's savable. So I am not a carpenter. I have a super vague amount of experience with woodworking, but for all intents and purposes, I am not a carpenter. And well, I'm about to become one, because unfortunately that camper's got to come off the truck. 24 valve. Hey, buddy. Anyways, camper's got to come off the truck, and let me show you why. All right, so the first thing I've been noticing lately is opening and closing the hatch. It almost seems like the camper is beginning to sag a little bit. So there's that. And then I noticed this little guy right here. That's pinched all the way out. So that corner would appear to actually be collapsing a bit. And if you look in here, that is exactly what's happening. So we have structural issues kind of all over the place, but then it gets really bad when we start looking around. So I have sprayed the mold with vinegar just to kind of get it cleaned up. But this is where the initial leak was, right there from that corner. But it's a moldy disaster. And I'm talking, we have mold there, we have mold there. It's at this point, I mean, it's gonna be absolutely everywhere. I haven't gotten into this quite yet, but no, it's gonna be bad under there. So here's where we're at. Everything's got to come out again, which is fine. But for the first time in, 40 years, since 1985, this truck is going to be a pickup for a while. It's never not had a camper on it. It had one put on in 1985 with, a carpet kit of that day, and that's how I bought it. And then I wanted to recreate that camper, so I had this one built. And well, here we are. And as luck would have it, it's starting to rain. Getting the camper off in itself. This camper was installed with a forklift. So I don't even know how many guys it's going to take to carry it. I have no idea how much this thing weighs. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. Could I just start over with a new camper? Just kind of scrap this one? Yes, I could. But frankly, I absolutely refuse to. This is the heart and soul of this truck, and I refuse to let it die. So I'm gonna teach myself how to be a carpenter and peel the skin back. I vaguely know how these are constructed, kind of. So I know there are screws all down in here. Um, then it should just kind of peel apart. No, that's not how that's gonna go. But it'll just peel right off. It'll be fine. And then find some tools and some sawhorses and a tape measure and go to town and pretend like I know what I'm doing. For the first time ever in this truck's existence, it's actually going to be a pickup. It's going to be a snail without a shell. And unfortunately, my wife is currently quite sick, and this is most certainly a two-man job getting all of this out. So unfortunately, I can't really do a whole lot today, but I am going to respray all of the mold, this vinegar, and then come back through and wipe it all up. Well, upon doing some more research here, I realize now that I need to let the vinegar sit on all of this and then come back with some warm water and wipe it down. So I'm doing this entirely wrong, but yeah, we're learning. We're learning. So I've been watching a lot of Ghost Town Living with Brent, who bought Cerro Gordo, the ghost town, and is living up there. And American Hotel burnt down, and he had no experience in building things like that. So he just went for it and made it happen, and learned as he went. So that's exactly what you guys are about to watch, because I pretty much zero carpentry experience, definitely zero mold experience, but I can't afford to pay anyone else to handle it for me. So I'm gonna figure it out, and Amelia is just gonna live as a pickup for a while until it's done, really. So yes, I have everything sprayed down with vinegar. His face mask is seemingly not doing a whole lot of freaking anything, because whew, it smells. But gonna let that sit as it is, and then come back with some warm water. But at this point, people are telling me to just set the camper on fire. But I refuse to do so. So we'll figure it out one way or another, friends. All right, so it's been a little bit. We're back with our warm water sponge gloves mask, whole thing. And let's do it. Yeah, I am getting severely overwhelmed because even this isn't going too horribly awesome. The vinegar is obviously, all this is kind of faux wood. Well, it's wood, but you know, um, and it's just peeling that first layer off. So that's also not going to look good by the time we're done here. All right, so there's the little clumps of just the fake finish that are coming off. As you can see, the mold is definitely, the mold itself is getting gone, but I'm definitely realizing I'm gonna be in over my head a little bit here. But we don't have a choice, so here we go. It is what it is. It's nothing that can't be redone and brought back to life better. All right, friends. Well, we got all the mold wiped down, sprayed with vinegar, soaked, wiped down with just warm water, and yes, it does not look good. This was not some miracle. It's all fixed sort of thing. The finish is pretty much gone. I'll show you. So missing there. That was a paper towel holder that fell off years ago, and it's looking like hell. But any living material is in theory taken care of. But now we're left to deal with the aftermath. And the aftermath is the camper is also actively collapsing. And really, I think the biggest thing is that front window definitely seems to be leaking, and I can't get to it. So we are here to rebuild it with hardly any experience. But for now, just to make sure that any and all moisture is taken care of, I'm going to run this in the camper just for a little bit. Yep. All right. Well, in conclusion, any and all winter cold weather camping plans that I had are now out the window. And I'm going to be teaching myself how to frame a small truck camper instead. So it should be interesting, if nothing else. But I guess there's really not much more to do right now. I'm only one human, and yeah, a lot of that does require a second person to deal with. So that's it for today. But that's the situation, and it's not ideal, but it is what it is. Definitely going to try to stay positive through this, and we'll end up with an even better camper on the other end of it. So cheers, friends. Thanks for watching.